Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Ankush here from Alif Consulting. Welcome in our Azure case study video. In this case study, we will be going to talk about how customers have leveraged Azure Cloud as a cloud first deployment and streamline their order processing system. Well, here is the agenda of this video. So we're going to have a technical story about this case study, and then what are the customer requirement was, what was the issue customer is facing, then how their solutions looks like, how their event driven workflow looks like, and at the end we will be going to know what is the customer next steps are, right? So let's quickly jump into the technical story and understand about it. So this customer is a international technology leader in optical and opto electronics, continue to break ground with Azure solution that enhance the quality and efficiency across the business. The latest innovation is a cloud native approach to the order processing that replaced an existing monolithic application architecture, which made it increasingly increasingly difficult to update business rules and to scale. So the application which customer was using here is basically the order processing. This customer is the leader. They have their I would say the vendors or the consumers across the globes, and they were having their order processing system which is running on a monolithics. So I would say it's running on a VM. It's quite standard application which is not easier to get updated, which increasingly creating a difficulty to manage and maintain the application update or do it a scaling, right? So the customer have worked with a Microsoft partner and become a earlier adapter of the Dapr distributed application runtime, a open source developer runtime created by Microsoft that's make it easy to build resilient, stateless, and stateful micro application that run on a cloud at the edge. So for this, customer was using the Kubernetes to fulfill the order faster from the end customer, while also speeding the developments and improving the business continuity for the company. To create a global reach, customer have used the Azure multi-region deployment here to create the deployment across the multiple regions. So the main challenge which customer was facing here is the 20-year-old backend system with the hard-coded business rule. So that was a main problem since they are running on a monolithic application, and all of the backend rules and the system is completely hard-coded business rules. So there was a no dynamic rules anything. They are simply hard-coded, like things has to be moved from one to B. Is something is written, go from A and then from go to B. So that's how the code has been written, and which is not a developer friendly. I would say developer could not easily update, reroute, and track the order without reconfiguring the table directly into the system. In addition, business unit had no direct control over their order processing flow. With so many system dependencies, changes always required costly, time consuming developer intervention. So this was a the major problem which customer was having. So that's the reason they want to become a more agile, where they can take the advantage of the automation tools to better manage of their order processing system. In early project, team used the APIs to decouple front end interface from the backend. This time, our team is also want to go global and distribute the order processing environment across the multiple Azure data centers to provide the faster service to consumer across the world. Now, customer have found a solution for rapidly building its new order processing system using the Dapr. The event-driven runtime help enterprise developer build a resilient and portable Microsoft microservice applications. Customer was the one of the earlier adapter of Dapr, a open source project. Dapr has a larger and rapidly growing community, including the customer developers that contributes code components and the tool. Uh, The Dapr have solved the customer challenges which they are facing developer while building the microservices application. It does this by codifying the best practices into the open source, independent, and building the block APIs that enable developer to build the portable application within a language and the framework for their choice. In addition, with no work, they get essential information from diagnosing issues in the production. Using the Dapr API, customer can get detailed tracing, metrics, and logging information from its the application to send the application insight. So the whole architecture of order processing application distributed that workflow across the data centers. The ingress point of incoming order is the Azure front door. So every request is coming on the Azure front door, since it's providing the load balancing, it's providing the WAF, it's providing the SSL offloading, secure communication between front end and back end, right? A scale and secure entry point for the global web applications. Azure front door routes a request to the nearest region, and which region includes the Azure resources need to be processed and store the data specific to the locals. A order submitted from a customer in Spain, for example, can be sent to the nearest region in Europe. Customer plans to run at least 6 regions representing the 3 continents. In the event of unexpected errors, our order is automatically routed to the another regions. Azure front door pass the order to the application gateway, which is web application load balancing load balancer that is mounted on the Azure APIs. Endpoint API server serve as the gateway of the regional resources, giving the customer a single place of effectively managing the API hosted on the on-premise or on the Azure. Next, API management triggered Azure bus a message broker to pick a incoming order and order details and store into the Azure blob storage, and the order process logics run into the container orchestrated by the Azure Kubernetes, right? So how things work, right? So they have the front door, they have the API managements, they have the service bus, they have the Cosmos, they have a key vault, and then they have the application pod which is running on the Dapr and the Microsoft.NET. So any customer which is requesting the any order that come on a front door and accordingly forward to the nearest region based on the customer location. The request will be come to the API management. API management send that request to the service bus. Service bus basically pick that request and store all of the order information into the storage account, and then the Dapr and the microservices which are there into the Kubernetes basically further process the order uh, to the next level. This is the detail, right? So this is how their deployment has been done into the multiple global regions. So they have Azure Cosmos DB, which they are running as a global resources that is storing all the information, because all the order detail which is there is non-relational database and don't require a non-relational database. So Cosmos DBs can be utilized, and then they were having all their application running into the Kubernetes on the Dapr, and that's how their order processing, routing, partner order validations, order completion, supplement status, order information, all of those application was running as a microservices. So order processing was the main application where all the information come order information come in, and then further they basically connect with the order validations, partners, routings, all of those processes work later on when the order get processed. What is the next step, right? So the launch of this new order app processing platform have given the customer scalable and resilient architecture it needed. Using the AKS in the combination of Dapr help customer to develop the services and get them to market faster. Customer benefit for faster order fulfillment and timely notification of the progress that something existing system could not do. The new solution is also completely configurable. The business can easily make update when customer or supply chain changes and can roll out these out into the hours instead of days. So Dapr made the much faster for them to build an application on the Azure Kubernetes. The deployment team can focus more on the business logic instead of spending the cycles on the common configuration element. So with this one, with this whole system, customer is able to run application faster than they expected, right? They have everything in place, they have all the logics in place. Now they don't need to work on the monolithic way. They have a more, I would say, they have done the application modernization in this case, where they have completely picked the on-premise application and re-architect that whole application into the Azure and rebuilt it from the scratch and run it on the Azure Kubernetes and the other Azure services by using the Dapr. Which means now customer can more focus towards creating the business logics or creating the more business related things instead of focusing on the application performance or application running, right? Well, that's it in this case study. I hope you like this case study. If you like, please click on like and subscribe for more upcoming case studies, and feel free to reach us if you have any questions. Thank you.